we obviously got to talk about the biggest Tiger Woods news that's been going around for the last week or so, which is that the pop stroke that Tiger Woods and TaylorMade are in on is fully open.
So are we going to talk about the actual Tiger news, or are we not going to talk about it?
What's that?
What are you talking about?
What's that now?
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports, brought to you by our great friends at Chevy. I was actually just out in the Chevy preferred parking area checking out Silverado, the pro here. Mike has a Chevy Silverado, which is just a stunning, beautiful vehicle. The fact that they have those in EVs and EUVs, also stunning. A lot to get to. Players Championship recap. Scottie Scheffler, who's a big friend of the program, who I sat around Sawgrass last night till about 9:30 at night in a rainstorm, and I didn't get anything from him. But he's a big friend of the program, so we like that. We like the wholesomeness. We talked a lot a few weeks ago during the full swing about the comparison between him and Meredith and their relationship versus like the Koepkas and how laugh out loud funny that whole thing was. And then they were on display again. So I don't know that anybody, I don't know anybody that's ever had a negative word to say about Scottie Scheffler. Being there in person, watching him, there were a lot of takeaways and a lot of takeaways from just how crazy his last 13 months have been. 6 wins in 13 months is pretty much outrageous, with one of them being a Masters, one of them being the Players Championship, one of them being a match play, which is just 3 completely different and very big events. Match play is not on the par with the other 2, but the fact that it is match play means the guy can just win anything. Watching in person at the Players this weekend, his footwork, and I know it gets talked about a lot on the broadcast, in person, it looks like and feels like he slips and that it was a mistake on every single swing.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that we kind of have like a clear number 1 and number 2 in the world right now, and both of them have just very, very kind of strange golf swings that you would never teach a junior golfer. It just kind of goes to show that optics are overrated. Like, obviously, Scottie looks like he's twists his ankle every time. Rahm, born with the club foot. He's got limited mobility, only takes it back to his rib. So there are guys on the driving range who have picture-perfect swings, or they hit P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. But the best 2 players in the world right now, the clear number 1 and the clear number 2, both do it their own way.
He's amazing. Scottie Scheffler, I think I'm genuinely in love with him. I think if I keep saying it, he's going to think it's weird. But, like, I just, when you look at him and you see the way he conducts himself and he holds himself, and then he just dominates the field like he did at the Players. I mean, I saw a tweet. Arnold, it was Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and Scottie Scheffler. The only 3 guys that have ever held the Masters and the Players at the same time.
It's crazy.
I mean, come on, man. You're talking about Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Scottie Scheffler. That's it. Those 3 guys, all the golfers that have ever played 2 of the more prestigious tournaments of all time. You're one of 3 that have done that? Come on, man.
Well, dude, I remember when we were at the Ryder Cup, and it was Sunday singles, and it was Scottie Scheffler versus Jon Rahm. And at that point, I remember tweeting out, like, I think Scottie Scheffler's going to win. I was just, holding the American flag down, being patriotic. And then it turns out that this guy is just going to go on one of the all-time runs. It's really fun to watch. It's cool that he's a friend of the program. We saw him outside the media tent, I want to say Wednesday or Thursday. And he was like, "Oh, I saw the Billy Horschel video. I saw that you guys beat him." And we were like, "You're next." I don't know if that'll ever materialize, but it goes to show that this guy has had one of the great runs in golf history, and he's still finding time to be like a normal person. He talks a lot about playing board games with Meredith. Like, if you're looking for a guy outside of Rory who you want to be the face of golf, Scottie Scheffler's probably got to be number 2 on that list.
And it's hard to call it a negative, but the only negative that I've seen online and talking to like buddies and stuff is that he's boring. And aside from that, like, you really can't knock the guy for anything. And to the boring debate, I mean, at some point it goes to, and I hate to always bring this back to the New York Islanders, but people say like the Islanders game is boring. But like when they were winning games and going to the Eastern Conference 2 years in a row, I used to say, is winning boring? Is watching a team win day in and day out boring, regardless of how it gets done? Like, at some point, Scottie's gonna go past the threshold of like, yeah, it might be boring because he's not the most, flashy, charismatic golfer in the world, but winning is fucking awesome. And like, if he keeps racking these things up, I mean, being on the same list as Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, and that's pretty not boring.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's an apples to apples comparison with your New York Islanders, but I do think the performance.
My point is that winning is not boring.
No, and I agree with that. I think he has.
But actually, it is apples to apples.
Well, there's probably other hockey examples. Like they're not
Yes.
the most winning
Are
franchise.
they winning a lot? Are they,
No.
I'm
I'm
just
just saying
saying-
when they're the only team that gets called boring. But my point is like
I bet
when you're
that's not
winning,
the
it's
case. It can't
fucking
be the
awesome.
only
I agree,
team.
and I think
they
Scottie
are the
Scheffler-
only team. It's fucking ridiculous.
I think Scotty has gotten to that point where, regardless of what you think, and I find him to be pretty interesting. Like if you just follow him, he's a wholesome family guy. It's a good. He's a good guy to follow. But also, when you win as much as he has, you can be barely awake all of the time, and you're an interesting person.
Yeah, I mean, I think from his standpoint, he probably wants to be called boring, right? Like that's great. That means he's hitting fairways, he's hitting greens, he's playing good golf, he's winning tournaments. I bet he has no issue with that. I remember Kevin Kisner like 5 years ago or so. I chirped him about being boring because I was trying to get him more on the coverage, or like it's impossible to watch you. They never put you on. And he's like, perfect. That means if I'm boring, that's great. That means I'm even keel. I'm playing golf. I'm hitting it the way I want to hit it. Now, I get all that, and I get that winning can be boring, and that's a good thing for Scotty. But I do agree with people to a degree that like there's a reason that like watching Spieth is just it's more magnetic to more people than even when he's winning than watching like Scotty, because when Spieth's just fidgety and he's all over the place and he's getting these crazy up and downs and he's just for whatever reason he's more entertaining from just a pure watching a guy play golf standpoint. And it's similar, I get to a degree of like when we talk about people, like if we were just really solid at golf, our YouTube videos would suck because if we just hit it in the fairway and then hit it in the middle of the green and then like two putt, why would that be entertaining for anybody to watch? So I can understand to a degree that people are like, yeah, he's not the most entertaining guy. I don't think that's a crazy thing for people to think. I get that. I think you probably have to be a little bit of a hardcore like golf fan to appreciate it on a pretty high level. And I think like to your New York Islanders comparison, Frankie, I do think that like even me as a hockey fan, like I would rather, now that I know the Islanders, I like watching them play, but beforehand, like I would rather watch the Edmonton Oilers play than the New York Islanders, even if the Islanders have a way better season, just because it's more entertaining. It's fucking chaos. They're going to give up 5 goals. They're going to score 6. It's going to be nuts versus like a 2-1 trap game is just not as entertaining to, a fan. So I mean, I guess I'm just trying to say, I get that from Scotty's standpoint, he wants to be playing boring golf. I'm sure from a fan standpoint, there could be more like electric people to watch for sure.
We do
Yeah,
sell
I completely
boring
agree.
shirts on barstoolsports.com for the New York Islanders. They're in the Islander colors. It just says boring across it. So go buy those.
I think it's the round on Sunday was boring in the best way possible from a golf perspective. It was sort of Tiger-like in the sense of he played with the lead, but he didn't play conservative. I thought Min-Woo Lee was surprisingly conservative, hitting iron off the tee a lot when Scotty was hitting driver. It seemed like Min-Woo didn't have a lot of confidence in his driver, but Scotty played kind of a distinctly modern round of golf. He bombed driver everywhere he could because that's what the numbers say you should do, and then he played to the fat part of the greens, except for on the par 5s and the short par 4s where he took advantage of getting it up there in one less than regulation. It wasn't a flashy round. It wasn't a round we're going to remember in 20 years, but that's not what the day called for. Everyone was getting to that 12 under number and then kind of going in reverse. There was only one guy who managed to post, and Scotty knew that all he had to do was suck the life out of that tournament by avoiding the big mistakes, and he avoided it perfectly. It's 369, like exactly what the doctor ordered. It was a stroll to victory. It was as comfortable as you could make a Sunday at the Players' Championship. But it was, and you're right, Riggs, because of him and because of the way the tournament went, it was not the most riveting television. And after the first 4 designated events all being kind of bangers, starting with Collins' collapse and Kapalua, and then carrying through to Riviera and the Homa against John Rahm battle, that one was a little bit of a snoozer.
Chevrolet. Let's talk about Chevrolet for a second.
Okay.
Chevrolet is a trusted company that has been innovating for the last, guess how many years?
50.
100. Damn. Century. 100 years Chevrolet has been dominating the game, and up till now, most electric vehicles, which are very new, that have not been around for 100 years, they've been either too expensive or too small and too limited in capabilities for most people. But Chevrolet is now committed to making EVs available for all Americans. There is a growing network of public charging stations everywhere you look. There are over 1,900 certified Chevy EV dealerships across the country. Chevy has convenient ways to research and shop EVs online. These are electric vehicles, EVs for everyone, everywhere. We need to get our hands on these things because we got a little bit of a sneak peek at a Chevrolet. What was the Chevrolet that we saw that was electric?
Silverado.
The Silverado EV. When we were there with Dan, we were there with Riggs.
Dan, we saw a cut of the commercial, and it's
unbelievable.
It's so good.
There's a commercial coming out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see because it was hard to follow what was going on in person.
It's great.
Our branded team did a commercial with Chevrolet. Wait until you see this thing. It's everywhere for everyone. Chevy EVs. Make sure you check them out. My lease is up on my car. I'm constantly looking and doing different trims, different interiors, different infotainment systems, all of that stuff, different colors, different rims. I love that stuff. It's the best part of getting a new car is setting it up online. Chevrolet, EVs for everyone, everywhere. I saw Whitney tweet out, like, if this guy ruins my Sunday at the Masters again, like, I'm going to fucking murder somebody. Like, if he goes out and wins another green jacket, is that boring? Is that ruining people's Sundays? If Scottie Scheffler goes out there next month and wins the Masters and, like, we're going crazy that this guy's becoming one of the best golfers of this generation.
There's no drama down the stretch, then yeah, I think so.
But, like the storyline at the end is not enough of, like, this guy just dominating golf. That's not cool enough. Like, does he really have to be fist pumping after every single putt?
I don't think it is to most people. I don't think it is.
To me, that is. It's a legacy. You're seeing a legacy unfold right before your eyes. Scottie Scheffler's becoming a household name. He's winning all these majors. He's winning every tournament he plays in. That's domination. That's Tiger Woods-esque. How is that not exciting? Because the crowd's not getting into it? That's our fault. Not his.
It depends on who you're asking. Whitney, I'm surprised at that because I would say golf fans are into it.
That's our fault for not getting excited. When he hits the fairway, we should go crazy. This guy's fucking dominating.
But I think it's pretty normal for people to be, on the back nine at the Masters, I would like it to be like 5 guys in the mix and somebody hits in the water on 12 that's devastating and costs them like a chance at the tournament, and somebody makes an eagle on 13 that vaults them into the lead, and then they get to go down 15 and they're going to go for it. Like, that's what you want. And if you just have a guy hit in the middle of the fairway and then hit middle of the green, you rob us of that, and people consider that boring compared to the other
back-to-back winner. There's when he's coming off the players. It's like that adds to it.
There's a couple of guys who I don't think I would agree with that. I think Scottie's one of them. I think Rory, if Rory had a big lead coming down the back nine on Sunday at the Masters, I'd be fired up about that. He'd finally get one. Like, there's a select few number, Tiger obviously, of guys who, like, it becomes a legacy conversation. Now that could very much be boring to the casual viewer, and that's not what you want if you're talking about you want to get as many eyeballs on the sport as you can. Like, you would rather have a Spieth collapse on 12 like you did to get more eyeballs on it. But if Scottie's coming down the stretch, back nine, Masters, has a big lead, he's about to win his second one in a row, he's going crazy, the numbers that he's putting up throughout the last 15 months or whatever it's going to be, like, to me, that's interesting, and it's enough. To the casual viewer, it's probably not.
I'm not saying it's not enough, but I don't think it's as compelling as some of the alternatives that we've seen. And I even think, like, in the Rory or the Tiger example, if, like, when Tiger chipped in, on 16 to, like, vault into a 2-shot lead and ended up having to win in the playoff by, like, making a putt, I think that delivers more, like, exciting content and feels for people. Even though Tiger still wins, we still get, like, the Tiger W. I think that overall, if in the same situation, like if Scottie like hooped one on 18, he like hits a bunker shot like Rory hit last year, but his is to like win by 1 or something, that's just, to me, better than if he wins by like 6 and just hits it in the middle of the fairway. And so I just think people, like, rather than have it be the way that it was, where it was like even on 17, even on 18 yesterday at Sawgrass, like, it really just wasn't even that nerve-wracking because you're like, Scottie could even make double here and he's still going to win by 3 or 4. It's really not that big of a deal. Whereas just as a fan, you want to feel those like nerves. Like when Molinari hit it in the water and Tiger ended his career, and then Tiger stood up there with his 9-iron, like, we were on the edge of our seats of like, my God, please let this ball end up on the green. Like, please, like, oh my God. Whereas like there was just no moments like that, yesterday. And I think that's just, as a sports fan, like, I think people just prefer it to be dramatic rather than over on like the third hole.
And there were none of those events the last three Masters. The last three Masters have sneaky been kind of boring. Last year, Scottie, I think Cam Smith hit it in the water on 12, was basically over after that. The year before, Hideki was in control basically the whole day on Sunday. And then the year he got hot on Saturday, but Sunday was kind of a snoozer. And 2020, DJ was way ahead. We haven't really had like a good nail-biting back nine Masters since Tiger in 2019.
I will say it's hard to suck the life out of Sawgrass to the point where 17 doesn't even feel that nerve-wracking, and Scottie had such a lead that it did. He had a 5-stroke lead going into that, and it's just, even if he doesn't hit the green on his first shot, it's like he's still not going to lose this tournament. You got going into that with like a 3-shot lead would have been interesting, 2-shot lead even more interesting, but 5, it's like, fuck, that guy's going to win the tournament every single time.
Yeah, and it's awesome for Scottie. Again, it's incredibly impressive. I literally think I guess we get recency bias a lot on this show. We're probably all pretty susceptible to that, but I don't see anything that's going to stop him from just being pretty consistently this dominant for a long time. He seems like completely at peace. He seems happy at home on the golf course with his caddy, with his sponsors, with his status in the game. He seems just totally content. When he won at the WM, everyone's talking about he didn't even have his A game. He clearly was hitting bad tee shots. It didn't feel like he was even playing that well. And he won a stacked event that Frankie said was better than PGA Championship.
I take that back.
He comes here and he's playing, I would say he did have his A game and he wins very easily by 5. He would have won the Masters by 6 if he didn't 4-putt the last hole or whatever. So when he does have his A game, it seems like the most common answer is Rory McIlroy or maybe Jon Rahm, that when they have their A game, nobody can touch them. I don't know that anybody has a better game or A game or any game overall than Scottie Scheffler. Obviously, he's number one. They've been trading the spot back and forth, but dude, he is fucking dominant. He hits it far. He plays incredibly smart. He's got a sick short game. He putts it beautifully. He's just he's almost he's unfucking flappable. And it makes me on Saturday, because we did the whole gambling show and that worked out pretty well. Actually made a good amount of money. We did the whole gambling show and all day Saturday, I'm just on what planet was I not just obviously Scottie Scheffler is going to win easily. It's just
right.
When you watch him that way, it seems so obvious that he's just going to win.
So if I offered you guys Rahm or Scheffler for Augusta, who would you take?
Oh, see, the thing is
Scheffler.
Really? Clear. That was a clear answer.
Well, all right, because we do recency bias is a big thing, and I think it is on this show because if you talked about Rahm 2 weeks ago, he was inevitable. He was Thanos. I do in my plums. I feel like if we're talking A games, I'm taking Rahm.
Rahm's a problem.
But
Rahm's really good. He's really
you know what I mean? If he won the Masters, it wouldn't surprise anybody. But you could have the exact same conversation about Scottie. So when Rahm gets going, it's just a big Spanish winning machine, and it's just a lot going on with him. And I think he's dominant when he's on his A game.
So I want to talk about the Players Championship. It was for the three of us, our first time ever being there. You guys were there Tuesday, Wednesday. I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was pretty blown away at the event. I think that it's the gold standard, no pun intended, of championship professional golf, and it's not even close. The Masters tournament is the only other thing that's obviously up there that beats it. But for an event that is not the Masters, and I would even say from major championships, I think it blows it out of the water from a spectating standpoint. I know everybody talks about the stadium course and how it's built very strategically so that everything is kind of a bowl and you have a vantage point. I couldn't believe how efficient and effective that actually was. You could literally walk up to any hole at any point and just see the golf, which you go to any major, any US Open we've been to, any PGA, that's just not the case. You can barely
no
see
grandstands.
anything.
They don't even need grandstands.
Right. You can barely see anything. Whereas at this course, no matter where you went, you could meet up with a group on 2 green. I just walked over to the Rory Scottie group who had to play as a twosome. And it was as packed as you could possibly have it. Everybody that was there. And I just walked up and stood on a hill and was able to just watch Rory and Scottie putt from 30 yards away. And you could do that anywhere on the course. I was amazed at that actual golf course. I was texting with Max a little bit about it last night. I don't know that there's any golf course I've ever seen that hole to hole to hole, it just makes everyone uncomfortable, man. There's not a single shot that a guy stands on any hole, even like the 6th hole, is a pretty short, should be a birdie hole. Rory putted it off the green and made a double. I watched Max Homa hit like a 2-iron into a bunker. I mean, he's got an iron in his hand trying to hit it in the fairway. That's very rare. On the 10th hole, it feels like that should be a pretty like playable. If a lot of the guys were talking about, it's like a hybrid and like a wedge if they hit a good one. Guys are hooking it left. Guys are hitting it way right into the trees, and it's just that whole golf course makes everybody uncomfortable. And then they get to 17, 18, and those are like the 2 most treacherous shots in the world. We saw it with Ramey, who's like basically leading the golf tournament, hits 2 great shots on Friday that both go in the water, and he makes, what do you make, a 7 or an 8? And it's just like that element to it, while the fact that the whole rest of the golf course is also just treacherous and uncomfortable the whole time, and then they get to 17 and then they have to hit the tee shot at 18, that theater combined with how great of a viewing experience it is, combined with the clean logo, like that logo, the Players logo, just all over the place, looks so good. Their jingle is fantastic. The Players Championship jingle just feels like important every time that you hear it. So yeah, I thought through and through, top to bottom, I was pretty just blown away at the Players Championship and how elite of an event it is all around, I feel like.
Yeah, the course just shows up, man, like every single year. It always just delivers, whether it's the wind on 17 or people putting it in the water in all spots that you wouldn't even assume. And 15's a hard hole, 16's insane. So you get all of these big moments where guys are going for it towards the end of the stretch. A lot of risk reward, which it's perfectly built for a tournament like that, where if it wasn't a Scottie Scheffler, it would always come down to the end, because you know that guys are going for certain things and guys are playing it more conservatively. Tuesday, Wednesday was awesome. I mean, it's practice rounds, but the vibes were like definitely major-esque, where the players were locked in. Every guy was like on the putting green, not really paying attention to any of the fans or anything. You could tell that it's an elevated, you know that they're trying to win this thing. There's no hooting and hollering. It's like, we're getting to this fucking golf course. We're going to go home. We're going to study and we're going to come back. So I really like the vibes there. All the fans really took it very seriously too. And the logos, yeah, the logo is insane. Our merchandise sold out basically on Friday, and then Saturday there was like a couple of hoodies left. So thanks again to everyone. I know that we've been saying that a lot on social media of just like how insane this is, that we got a merchandise deal with the Players and the PGA Tour.
Ordered 4 times as much.
They ordered 4 times as much as the Waste Management, and it sold out in the same amount of days as the Waste Management. So I don't know how that's possible. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I know the logo was insane. I know that things are going well around here, but just the Players is so different, and to see our logo on the side of hoodies and shirts and hats and seeing so many people, I'm sure when you were there on the weekend, we got tweets like everywhere you look, someone was wearing something Barstool Golf. We kind of just took over the entire property. That's crazy. Like, there's a lot of competition out there, obviously, the YouTube space, all these things. What we did this week at the Players is pretty fucking outrageous. Like, there's literally no one else in there. It's us, Nike, Adidas, fucking William Murray. I mean, like, who the fuck? Like, it's Bill Murray's in there next. It's crazy.
Definitely got the feel like we walked into the wrong room,
bro.
And we're like,
we're
here's
a
our
merchandise brand now. Like, that being in the tent is out of control.
Yeah,
seeing that setup was crazy, and we sold out. We're like the only brand that they're like, hey, we have to take this setup down because you're not there anymore. People were tweeting at me on Sunday being like, you guys weren't here. It's like, yeah, we were. They literally took our footprint off because we couldn't buy a single thing anymore. We're gone.
I was blown away at how much of it was being worn around the course. I was
Same,
like, all these people bought it and then are already wearing it, or they came back another day after buying it the day before and are not wearing it today. So it was all over the place. So yeah, I mean, just a huge thanks to everybody. It's nuts that we ordered as much as we ordered for this tournament compared to the Phoenix Open, and sold out earlier than I think we sold out for the Phoenix Open. So I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, there were just foreplay fans everywhere. And I'm starting to realize too that we get a lot of the folks that are into what we do that buy the merchandise. It could be now from a diverse thing that we do that they're into. It could be from the YouTube channel. It could be they're big fans of the podcast. It could be they play in the Barstool Classic every year. It could be from the Foreplay social channel. Like, people know us from different stuff now, and you kind of forget when we just work and I log in and see your guys' mugs and then log off and upload it to Bush, and then he just stays up 24/7, 365 editing and shit. You just forget that like we're in so many different areas doing stuff. And so yeah, that logo, as cool as it is, combined with our logo, and then people actually buying it and selling it out, And the fact that it was, I mean, if we would have had one hoodie there, if they would have allowed us to sell one hoodie in that tent, I would have been blown away. I would have been like, that seems like you guys shouldn't be doing that. And we sold like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of it. So pretty surreal. Great work by our merch team. Enormous thank you to all of our fans, because we obviously wouldn't be able to do that if it weren't for our fans.
Had a couple of the guys wearing it. Callum Tarrant.
Crazy.
Teed off on 17. Which practice round was
that
that?
was on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Callum Tarrant is preparing for the players. I mean, this guy, we had him on last year at the 3M. He barely got his tour card. He had to like race to the finish of the PGA Tour season to secure his card.
When we met Callum Tarrant at the 3M, we played in the Pro-Am, played the front nine with Sam Ryder.
Yep.
And he was great. And I feel like we had Sam Ryder on the show. Maybe we knew him a little bit. And
he
then
was the ace man at the Waste Management.
That's right. And then the back nine was Callum Tarrant, and we didn't know him. I didn't know what to expect. And I actually thought after the first hole, I didn't think that he liked us. I thought like he was like, who are these clowns that I have to play this Pro-Am with? And now he's wearing our merch, teeing off during a practice round at the Players.
Then he hit that shot from that bunker.
Insane.
It was like a
Great
ball
shot.
above his feet, and he had to just like stab at it from like 170 yards away, and the ball went to an inch. And I looked at him, I said, whoa, like you're legit. Like I thought you were some fucking bloke or whatever. I didn't know who the hell this guy was. And then he put that ball right next to the hole, and I'm like, this is a different like you're a real golfer. That video's on YouTube, by the way. I feel like we didn't promote that. We kind of just threw it out there because we had a video just saved, and then we just put it out in the winter. If you would search Foreplay 3M, we play with Callum Tarrant and Sam Ryder at the 3M tournament. It's an amazing video. It's really, really cool. So go watch that. But we gave him, so he messaged me on Instagram saying, love this hoodie. And I'm like, I'll send you one. And I asked him for his address, and he goes, I'll be at the Players, mate. Like, I'll be at the tournament.
Yep.
So, like, he's like, I'm going to be playing. So I'm like, I'll hand deliver you one. So we're walking around with this hoodie, and I had one for him, and we're looking for him all day. Practice rounds are tough because you don't know who's out there. They kind of go by their own schedule. And Brendan Jones and I were walking around, and we just see Tommy Fleetwood walking into the clubhouse, and I'm like, Tommy, and he like came over, hugged us. He goes, you playing this week? I never know when he's fucking kidding, if he hates us, if he loves us. Tommy's like, he's got me hook, line, and sinker. His dry humor I can't get a beat on, and he knows that I can't. He knows I'm Bambi on ice. Like I just can't get my legs under me when it comes to him. It's like a 1-2 punch. So he's like, you playing? I'm like, no, we're here for the media. Like I answered him like,
you answered him literally.
I was like, no, we're media. It's like Barstool Sports. So then I
do a podcast. We're tailor-made
he's like,
guys.
Frankie, I know.
We're not
He's
playing,
like, I know, whatever. So I'm like, you want a hoodie? I just like figured I'd just give it. I'm like, do you want a hoodie? And he's like, sure. He didn't know why I was giving it to him. And he's looking at it and goes, this is really nice. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's ours. Like, you see the logo on the side? He goes, no way. I'm going to wear this he looked at me in the eyes. He goes, I'm going to wear this every single day walking into the clubhouse. I promise you that. I'm like, all right. And I thought he was being fucking sarcastic again. Turns out he wore it every single day walking into the clubhouse. Danny, didn't he see you and been like, where are you guys?
Yeah, so he saw me on Friday. He had just finished his round, and he was like, where were you this far? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm wearing your hoodie every single day. I'm waiting for you guys. I'm
so
like,
then on Sunday, the PGA Tour tweets out, the leaders show up to the clubhouse, and he's wearing it again. He wore it 4 days in a row from Thursday to Sunday.
Before Sunday, we were hitting up every photographer that we knew on property being like, were you here this morning when Tommy Fleetwood arrived? Because he said he's wearing our hoodie every day. We still didn't know if he was kidding or not.
No, I had no idea.
You can never get a beat on him. And then, like Frankie said, Sunday video came out. Sure enough, there he was wearing our hoodie.
And the hoodie was like too large for him too. So I really appreciate him wearing it. He looked like a little child in it. It was
I know, it was definitely too big. So then we have this other. So now we have to get Callum a hoodie. I gave Tommy Fleetwood that hoodie. So then we get a hoodie from the pro shop. Bought it because I mean that's just how that had to work. We had to buy our own stuff from the pro shop. It was unbelievable. And we walk in, we get our hoodie, we go up to Callum Tarrant. Brendan goes, dude, he's on 17 right now. He's getting off 16. We rush there. He's walking off 16, playing by himself, right?
No.
Oh.
No, he had a couple guys with him.
He had a couple guys with him? That was weird. I guess we just saw him walking up by himself. But he's walking on 17, and we go under the ropes, and he's just like amazing. Puts it on. Callum puts it on and goes and hits his shot on 17 with the hoodie on. I'm like, this guy's the biggest fucking legend that we've ever interacted with.
He's great.
I mean, when does that ever happen where a guy wore a Barstool golf merchandise as he hits the most iconic shot at the most iconic golf course of the year? I mean, come on, man. That was nuts. So Callum's the man. Tommy's the man. They're all the men. All these guys are the men.
It's the Brits, man.
The Brits. Yeah,
Brits are cool.
seriously. The Brits
the
are
Brits
cool.
love us.
I think we might be friendlier with the Brits than we are with the Americans.
I wonder if it's because they like if you're an American golfer, professional athlete, you kind of know what Barstool is. Brits are probably just interested in what it is. They're like, what is this like podcast, media, merch?
Who are these guys?
Tournament
like, they must
brand.
be like, who are these guys? Like, what?
And the rest, and then
they're not a journalist. They're not golfers. They're not like, what are they?
Bro, I had that experience. I had that experience this weekend where I was walking and getting some shout outs from the fans, which by the way is very strange for me, but very cool.
Love
and
that.
one of the women security guards comes up to me and she's like, I must be living under a rock. Like, who the fuck? Who are you? Like, what are you? I was like, we have a podcast. She's like, what? I think it's a very strange thing for people who aren't initiated into it.
My mom asks me that question all the time.
This episode is brought to you by Whoop, the official fitness wearable of the PGA Tour and the Foreplay Golf Podcast.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me that I'm wearing one, but if you're listening, I'm telling you right now that I'm wearing one. I love the Whoop. I check it every morning to see how much sleep I got. I got 7 hours and 17 minutes last night. It does strain, it does recovery. It tells you how much sleep you need. If you don't get enough one night, you got to make up for it the next night. Basically, I would be lost without this thing now. So, if you want to finely tune your body, you got to throw a Whoop on so you know what you got to do to improve.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop is a wearable health and fitness coach that specializes in tracking and improving your recovery, sleep, and activity, whether you're still hoping to sleep better or exercise more or reduce stress or just lower your handicap. Daily insights from Whoop are tailored to help you meet that goal. 87% of Whoop members say they feel healthier with Whoop. That is just... You poll 100 people, 87 people say that I feel better wearing this thing. That means it's working. They've done all the data. They've done all the analysis. They've done all of the analysis, and they've figured and they've come to the conclusion that Whoop makes you feel healthier. With everything from your personalized recommendations to sleep coaching, Whoop uses data to provide you with steps you need to take to maintain positive routines and build healthier habits. Trent Daddy uses it. I use it. Riggs uses it. Danny uses it. We all love the Whoop. I love sharing my stats with guys. I actually share them with a couple of guys in the Islanders, and seeing their fucking stats are so funny compared to a regular human being. It makes you feel like you're not doing anything with your life. I'm like, oh yeah, my strain's like a 9. Their strain's a 9 at morning skate. It's unbelievable. Right. They haven't even started their day yet. Go to whoop.com, WHOOP.com, and you're going to use code FORE, FORE, to save 10% off your order. That means you got to go to whoop.com, use code FORE, and you're going to save 10% off your order when you order Whoop Band.
My mom, she gets coffee with her friends like every Wednesday, and she always asks me like, how do I describe the job to them, because they know their sons and daughters, they're finance or they're lawyers or they're this and that, and they're like, what does Trent do? And she's like, I don't know. I just tell her media. I tell her like he's in media, and that's it.
Dude, he does a golf podcast. He does a golf show where he tries to play in less than 90 strokes, and he carries luggage out on the Bachelor occasionally. And they're just
he talks about his penis from time to time.
Well, that's your mom when she's in conversations with people. I keep my penis talk to a minimum, but
we're talking about people that are just the men. I gotta give a huge shout out to a lovely Canadian fella, Todd Hickey, who is the GM of the Sawgrass Marriott. Who Frankie you and Trent got this guy's card. He met you guys. He said he's a big fan. He gave you a card. You took a picture of the card, gave it to me because I was there over the weekend. He's the general manager of the Marriott Sawgrass, which is literally on property. So it's where like half the players in the field stay there. A bunch of media, a bunch of the corporate clients stay there. They have over 500 rooms. It's this massive Marriott complex where they do events, and you literally walk onto the course from there. And this guy, I was staying in 30 minutes away in like a very okay hotel, which is fine. I had AC and decent air, but I'm battling through like 40 minutes of traffic.
That's where we stay.
I just email this guy, Todd, and he calls me within seconds. Like, you need a room for Friday, Saturday? I'm like, yep. And he's like, no problem. Gives me a great employee rate, and I move in, and I literally just walk to the course. I didn't have to touch my car from Friday afternoon until Sunday, and then every day at the course, We go out there, we're having transfusions together. He's the total legend from Canada who's in the hospitality business, nicest guy on the planet. So I got to give a shout out to Todd. He knows everybody too. So anybody that's been like if there's any like players that are listening or people that know players, they're probably going to know him from interacting with him. Or even if you work for Morgan Stanley or one of these companies that's a big corporate sponsor with the players, you probably know him because he just deals with everybody that goes through that hotel, which is a lot of people. And he's just the nicest human being on earth. So we had a great time with him. He hooked it up big time. This will not be the last time that we do some business with Todd because obviously we love this tournament. We're going to come back to the area. So shout out to our guy, Todd.
That guy is a fucking godsend. We like he kind of came up to us in the middle of all these stoolies.
Yeah.
And he becomes like one of the people where he's just like, oh, like, hey, how's it going? I have this place, and you're like, all right. And you're kind of just like getting through the conversation. Then you're like, wait a minute, this guy's really super nice, and he's got crazy things he's saying. He's like, bro, it's on the golf course, hotel, I'm the GM. Let's go anytime you want to come. Like, Todd, you're the man.
Dude, we hung out yesterday at Hospitality on 17 up in the tent. And we just hung out up there with him and had a couple cocktails and watched the players finish. And he's just one of those guys. It's like, is there anything better than this? How about this view, fellas, the whole time? And you're just like, this is fucking great. So love that guy. He's the absolute man. And yeah, we're going to be seeing him again very soon. A couple gambling notes real quick. I just have to say that Kirk and myself with our little gambling show for the first time won some people some pretty serious money right out of the gate. Kirk had the Hovland top 10 hit. I had Tyrrell Hatton top 20 hit, and then Kirk had Ryan Fox top 30 that hit, but it didn't pay out full. It paid out about half, I think, after the dead heat thing, which is incredibly infuriating now. And I get it. I get it because, like, you know, we're getting new into this in the top 20s and trying to find the value and all the bullshit. And I get that, like, the first couple times that we made those bets and made them public a month ago or whatever it was with the Jason Day top 5 and all that, like half the tweet replies were like, watch out for the dead heat thing. And I was like, all right, how big of a deal could that be? It's the whole fucking thing. It's the only deal in the world. So I get why people, it's like you're fucking begging for people to now make bogeys because the more people that are tied for any number that's going to be higher than just like clean top 30 is going to get divided by that amount of people. So he did have a hit on the Ryan Fox one too. You won money, but you didn't win full. And then the Keegan one was a miss for me. I had Keegan top 10. He shot like $1 million, I think, on Friday and missed the cut. And then Kirk had him as his like long shot to win. But if you took those other three, you got paid out pretty nicely. So it was a damn good weekend for that. We're going to be back, I think, doing that again for the Valspar this week. We don't get a ton of direction on it, so who the fuck knows? But
Tyrrell Hatton, man, no sweat on that one. That thing was what a finish by him.
Dude, it was crazy. Like, it's crazy because it never felt secure. And then I looked up and he was like alone in second at one point. I was like, what?
What did he shoot at 29 on the back?
29.
Yes.
He didn't even birdie
he birdied his last 5 holes of the tournament to make himself probably like a good solid $2 million. Wow. I think he got 2.7 for finishing solo second, and he stole that solo second. He was nowhere to be found with 5 holes to play.
That shot on 18 from the trees was fucking.
Because
you watch guys
dirty,
dude. It was because
dirty.
You watch guys all day, and everybody was going in the water. Everybody would either go in the water or it would come up way short, and he just fucking, for whatever reason, he put it right up there, and it was a thing of beauty.
Seeing him smile was so weird.
It's weird.
Like, he wears his emotions so on his sleeve, and you just don't see the happy side of it. You only see the negative, like, screaming psycho Tyrrell Hatton, but him smiling felt very strange. It's like, oh, Dad's happy today. It's like, let's ask him if we can go to Chuck E. Cheese because he's happy, smiling today.
Dude, he was talking to Tarico after, and it was before Scottie had really pulled away, and they were like, you have to stick around because there's a chance that you have more work to do. And then Scottie went crazy, but yeah, just a crazy finish for Tyrrell.
I also think, I also always think the Brits for some reason are more money guys than the Americans. It feels like I feel like he's smiling because he won so much money. Whereas like I get obviously that it's exciting. You played well, but like, you know, Homa when he finished second at Riviera, and obviously the emotions and him trying to win there again in front of people that were actually a crowd, and he was like devastated and crying because he came up in second, and like Hatton was like smiling. He's like, I made 2.7 million. Like he seemed so.
Yeah, but he also won like the tournament within a tournament. That's how much in control Scottie was. That it just they said it early. They said it when they were on like the 8th or 9th hole. They're like, these guys are basically playing for second this week.
Yeah, and it's funny because like as now that we're getting more into the golf gambling thing, it's like I'm mad at myself that I didn't have the balls to put him top 10 or top 5 or something. But then you look and he was like never even a lock to finish top 20, like never. And then all of a sudden he just like I said, look up and he shoots 29 in the back without even birdieing. He's par 5 11th hole. He shoots 29 birdies a million holes. So yeah, that was an insane finish from him. That was nice. Solo second when all I needed was top 20. So that felt good.
It's got to be infuriating for maybe not even infuriating, but for Minwoo Lee playing with Scottie, like because Scottie isn't a guy who's like you're not watching him being like he wants to kill me out here. It's almost like he is so relaxed that would drive me more crazy than somebody who was looking me in the eyes being like I'm gonna beat you today like that. Like I don't know, and I love watching Minwoo Lee hit those irons. I don't know if you don't see a guy like that anymore. Who just hits an iron like 300 yards.
It was incredible. They were going through his ball speed numbers, and he's not the biggest guy, pretty normal like stature, even a little slighter and smaller. And if you guys remember, like when we were at the Kingdom and we were trying to get Lurch with his Stealth 2 to get to 175 ball speed. That's what like Trotty was doing. He was trying to hype him up, trying to get Lurch to 175 ball speed with his driver. Minwoo Lee was 172 ball speed with his 2-iron.
That's insane.
He's literally, think about how that big ogre idiot Lurch is swinging like a madman with his driver and hitting it hard and good. And we're like, holy fuck, that's amazing. He's hitting 175 with his driver. Meanwhile, he's hitting it 172 with his 2-iron. His driver head speed or ball speed coming off was at like 192 or 193 at one point on Saturday, I think, was his driver. And you're just like, what the fuck? How is
Dude,
that possible?
He pulled it on 18 on Saturday and hit it 295. It's like that's fucking outrageous.
That's crazy.
So
those are crazy numbers.
He was great to watch. I like that storyline of him and his sister and like all that stuff coming up is really, really, really cool. So I love like getting the new stars in there a little bit and like getting them some exposure. And he's got the stash, and he seemed like Sunday obviously didn't play his best. And then in the press center, he seemed so jovial and in like a good mood. He was like, this was great. I learned a lot from this. I like just felt so uncomfortable out there today, which is something that's like key, but like what a week I had. So I love that. He emerged as someone that just the second you hear him talk and you watch him play a little bit, you're just a fan of that guy. So I love that he emerged a little bit. Rory miscut was pretty shocking, but then again, the Players Championship delivers weird shit like that. Like it's always delivered weird shit like that.
Danny?
Weird shit, weird shit, random shit. It was a big week for 72 holes because the leaderboard after 36 holes was basically seemed like a random number generator.
Yeah.
And the leaderboard apart from Scottie after 54 holes was Scottie, Cameron Davis, Minwoo Lee, Tommy Fleetwood, Aaron Rai, Chad Ramey, and Christian Bezadenhout. Those were the guys who were in contention. You know, by the end of 72 holes, the top 5 looks a little bit more what you'd expect. Scottie Scheffler, Tyrrell Hatton, Victor Hovland, Tom Hoagie, and Hideki Matsuyama. It's amazing how the cream eventually rise to the top the longer the tournament goes.
Tom Hoagie, man, what a weekend for him. 62? I mean, it was
What a
scoreable on
weekend.
Saturday, obviously, but like 62 is fucking crazy.
All those golfers that have played that course, he's the lowest. Come on.
That Colt Nose
That's
clip
what I was
was
going to say.
funny.
What a sick course record to have. I mean, other than Augusta, it might be the number one because it's the only course where like all the top players play every single year.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's a great fucking point. Jordan Spieth, I thought I saw some good stuff out of Jordan Spieth again. I know I'm looking right now. He ended up at tied for 19th, it looks like. Yeah, he ended up tied for 19th. He was 6 under par. I think a little bit of that was like a consequence of he was going for it. He was trying to shoot something really low and get himself back into the tournament. But just as a guy that we've talked about a lot that you kind of wait for is like he going to be back. He was the guy that I sprinkled some on to win this week. He didn't win, but another solid week. And he's the kind of guy that's just one of those names that everybody throws out. He could win at Augusta any given year. If he hasn't made a cut for 15 tournaments in a row going into Augusta, you feel like there's a chance he could win it. So with that tournament only, 2-3 weeks away now at this point, Jordan seems to be playing pretty well. And another guy up there that's playing pretty damn well consistently, Ricky Fowler. I feel like those two, man, it's like the spring break boys a little bit are starting to have. Those guys are starting to have a little juice.
Smiley's killing it on the mic too.
Dude, I thought he did
lagging.
great. I thought Smiley was great. He's like made for that gig.
He was using bigger words than he usually did, like when he first did it.
Really?
I noticed that he was like way more like versed in certain words on how to use them on the commentary side. Like
That's his craft now.
He definitely went to like that commentary school, whether he asked someone or has been kind of studying up, because you could tell he was way more polished. He still was smiley, but he was like way more professional than I thought he was the other times I've heard him.
Okay. I love that. Yeah, I saw
Yeah, he
him
was good.
very briefly in between 16 and 17, which is a great spot to hang out when you've got like the media crunch. And he walked by, just big smile on his face. He looked like the happiest guy on planet Earth, gave a little fist bump, and he's like, I'm right back to the covers. And then he was on and he's fucking moving and jiving. I'm very impressed by the live radio, golf radio guys. You hear these fucking guys when you guys are out there following around.
Oh, bro, welcome to my world. And he holds it from 7 feet for a 7 par, and Tiger Woods moves to 3 under at the Players Championship.
Wait, so he's all right. So I actually have not run into the radio guys. So they're doing live radio. They're following a group.
Yep. And dude, and they're
Wow.
amazing. Like, I get that we shit on old man golf media and they deserve it. These guys are actual talents. And you might not think that they're your favorite person, or whatever, but dude, their ability to just talk about stuff and like just say stuff that seems so stupid and like, what the fuck is that guy doing right there? And he's just sitting there talking to the point where he's like, and Scottie Scheffler, he sets his left foot down behind. He set his right foot down, and he has now put the putter behind the ball. He backed off. There's a little bit of a noise over there. And it's like the guy's just standing next to you talking to a lot of people. And then you could tell when they'll switch off to like the closed circuit to just their crew or something. And then the guy will be like, where do you want me? Do you want me on the fucking Scheffler group, or where do you want me? And then I hit back in, and he's like, and Scheffler, he's going to go with the driver here on 11. And he just keeps going. So I'm blown away at those radio guys just walking around while everyone else is trying to be quiet, and they're just fucking talking because that's their job. Blown away by those guys. I thought they're incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive.
Anybody who can do play-by-play radio of any sport is a million times more talented than
amazing.
Me or any of us. Like that's so hard to do that I absolutely we'll shit on old man media all the time. Radio guys like that I will never shit on. That's such a talent.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. So I love them. I think they're fantastic. I just watch them sometimes for like 15 minutes straight, and they just never stop talking. And it's like, it's amazing what they're doing. So I was witnessing a lot of those guys. It was great.
The average person has around 12 paid subscriptions. Think about that. 12 paid subscriptions. You have no idea what you're subscribed to. What haven't you been subscribed to? What are you forgetting about? The reason why I'm telling you this is because there's a way to figure out what you're subscribed to, what you need help with when it comes to your finances. Rocket Money, which is formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one simple place. Over 80 people have subscriptions that they forget about. Like that streaming service you bought just to watch one show on, you get the free trial, you never signed up for it to be canceled after the first month, and then you completely forget about it. You're paying for it for years, and you're like, why have I not figured that out? Rocket Money is there for you to cancel that subscription.
So I've talked about this in the past, but it's great for the subscription part because it'll cancel the ones you don't use. But if you want to get a hold of your finances, if you want to get a handle on it, if you really want to look yourself in the mirror and figure out what am I spending money on, where can I cut back, Rocket Money is the thing to get because it has everything itemized with food, with clothes, with utilities. It shows you all of those things, and you can search like, what am I spending money on? Coffee, breakfast, all this stuff, and you can kind of figure it out. It's you take a hard look in the mirror, you figure it out, and you can save a bunch of money. Rocket Money helps with that in every way.
And it's so easy. You simply go on Rocket Money, you find the subscription that you do not want, and you press cancel. Rocket Money will cancel it for you. They make canceling subscriptions. I can't say subscriptions.
You're doing it now.
Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as a click of a button. So stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Fore. That's rocketmoney.com/Fore. rocketmoney.com/Fore.
We obviously got to talk about the biggest Tiger Woods news that's been going around for the last week or so, which is that the Pop Stroke that Tiger Woods and TaylorMade are in on is fully open in Glendale, Arizona, and all of the reviews that I've gotten from that place are that it's fantastic. And then the other Pop Stroke that, again, is Tiger Woods and TaylorMade are in on that. has opened up here in the Tampa area, and Justin Mancini and our crew, T-Ray and those guys went there, I think yesterday or the day before, and said it's awesome. So obviously the big Tiger Woods news is that I got to get to one of these things because apparently they're popping up and opening up all over the place.
So the TaylorMade guys were out in San Diego. I saw, like, was it San Diego they went to? Like Ollie and all those guys, they all went out there. I saw on their social medias they were having time of their lives at a Pop Stroke. So yeah, Pop Stroke is popping off.
That's awesome. Huge.
Got to get to one of these things. There's one opening in Scottsdale, but I think it's going to be another 6 months or so because the Glendale one is where the football stadium is, and it's like 45 minutes away. And obviously that's a little bit of a hike to go putt around a bit. But the Mancini and them were raving about it today, just saying that it's literally, it's Top Golf, but putting. The drinks are great. The food's great. The holes are phenomenal. I saw people, like a couple of videos of people that got bowls and they're hitting it past the hole and it's rolling back in, which is always fun. So I'm just saying out there that I'm adding it to my list that I'm hearing great reviews from Pop Stroke and I want to get out there and I want to play.
Are we going to talk about the actual Tiger news or are we not going to talk about it?
What's that?
What are you talking about?
What's that now?
A couple lawsuits that are floating around the South Florida legal system.
Look, the latest thing that I saw is that Mrs. Herman is not a victim of sexual assault or abuse sought to be protected by Congress when enacting the statute. Wood's filing says, rather, Miss Herman is a jilted ex-girlfriend who wants to publicly litigate specious claims in court. Specious claims in court rather than honor her commitment to arbitrate disputes in a confidential arbitration proceeding. I saw something about that come across my radar, and that's all I really took away from it.
A lot of words that mean not a lot of things to me. I just,
Danny, what do you think?
I look, obviously this is a very sensitive topic. I don't want to say anything that's going to come back to bite me. It does seem like there was a question. There's two different lawsuits here. The first one, she was asked to fill out a sheet where it said, are you a victim of sexual abuse or sexual harassment? And she said no. And the next one, something changed, and that was something that was used, was those words. My question is, isn't suing to end an NDA kind of a violation of the NDA? I mean, that's where my head went to.
I actually thought,
didn't she already go public?
Not a lawyer. I'm not. I'm just. I'm not 100% on that. Again, look. If there's two people that are disagreeing on something, one of them is a guy that I consider my brother, and I'm going to have to take one's word over the other.
You did say
that. To just be a neutral observer of the situation, I'm more likely to believe the person that I know that well. So when I look at the different statements that have come out, it's nothing against Miss Herman, who I don't know at all. But again, I'm just more inclined to take the word of the one whom I know on a pretty personal level, and that's Mr. Woods in this case.
I thought the wildest thing was the 11-year housing agreement, where they were saying that they had a handshake. They had a handshake deal,
verbal
a
agreement.
verbal agreement that she was going to be able to live in the house for 11 years. That seems all of that seems arbitrary.
I blew my socks off. I did a podcast with some sports law guys, and I said, "Have you ever heard of an oral lease for 11 years?" And they said, "No, I have not."
She's saying that again. I don't know all the specifics, but that
actually took my attention away from Pop Stroke for a second when I saw that. I was like, 11 years.
You can hang out here for about 11 years.
And she's like, I got 6 years left. It's like that. I just never. I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer either, not even close, but I'd never heard of an oral agreement about.
He looked at his calendar. He's like, in 2033, I want you out of here. It's just like, I'm going to be sick of you, and I don't want you here anymore. I don't want you at the house. We're moving.
It's bizarre. The whole thing is, the NDA.
The story about how he did it is out of this world. Where he that's pretty like common knowledge now, right?
Is that confirmed?
Or confirmed that he pretended that they were going on a vacation because he wouldn't have gotten her out of that house, and then she went into one car with which she did not know that like lawyers were going to be in there, and he went into another, and they just drove their separate ways like it was The Sopranos. It's fucking out of this world. I mean, who can pull off that move? I mean, that's straight out of a movie.
So I believe that was from her filing. So from her court documents that's what went down, which on that aspect, I don't know that she would like just make that up. So that's, that's sort of an all.
We're going on vacation. We're going on vacation. This car's packed. Can you just go on the other one, and then we'll meet you at the destination? She gets in. There's someone in the back seat. saying you're done. It's just like
That's
Not
like how-
illegal, though. That's not illegal. I don't
it's not
think.
illegal.
No.
It's just a fucking.
That's how Logan
that's a-
Roy would do it.
That's a move, dude. You need a writer's room to come up with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
The whole
That's
thing
a-
is obviously sensitive, but it's
super
also,
sensitive.
Right.
You don't know what's going on.
It's also like it's just this guy's life is it's never easy and it's never boring. It's always something's going on.
What do the kids call it? A movie?
Wow.
What do they call it? This is a zoovie, bro.
Oh,
What do they say, Alex?
Does Bush know
I
that?
have
Bush
no
has to know
clue.
that.
Bush just put his
No clue.
head in his hands like,
Oh,
wow.
God.
Danny Rapp probably says shit like that. You ever say zoovie?
I've definitely heard major motion picture, but never zoomy.
What is the definition of that?
It's just a movie,
Of a
bro.
zoovie.
It's just a major motion picture, bro. It's
Isn't a
just unreal.
zoovie a thing?
I think that's what people say. Now we're the oldest podcast in the world.
Zoovie. Urban Dictionary. Hold
Dan,
on.
how's the Netflix Netflix bump? It's got to be pretty substantial.
Very
A wild
substantial.
one.
Very substantial. Yeah, I think you probably saw a little bit of it, Riggs. Yeah,
Not even close.
this never happened before. I always watched it happen with you guys, but it's happening. It's just, and we've talked about this a lot. The difference between the online chatter and the in-person chatter is just astounding. Online, I ruin the company. I'm the worst thing since ever.
Yep.
And in person, everyone's nice as can be. So I've kind of changed my notification status on Twitter, where I only get notifications from people that I really follow, and it's kind of quieted everything. And I feel like it's
Oh, you didn't
it's for
have
the
that
better.
prior?
No,
Wait.
no, I was getting notifications where you just pull down and it's just like constant.
Oh, yeah, you gotta switch that.
constant. So I switched it. It's been big.
Dude, I get
People,
notifications
the haters
from
on
almost
Twitter
nothing.
don't realize how easy it is to block them out. Like when you just
No.
mute someone, they think that they're still getting at you, and they're gone. They're gone. You never see them ever. It's impossible to see them.
The only
and
time
then
I
with
get these
notifications,
things-
you only see the ones that people you follow. So it's like you really
the
don't
only ones
see
I
it.
see now these days is if someone's talking shit. Is if one of my friends sends it to me. He's like, "Hey, like, do you see?" I'm like, "No, I didn't see it, but thanks for sending it to me. Like, please don't do that anymore."
There's the one that
So,
says Frankie gets pegged all the time. That's just the I don't even know what that means.
Well,
"Peg" means you
what?
get a little strap on action.
yeah.
Is that what that
That's
is?
what that means. Yeah, I think that's what a pegging is.
So what was I thinking? Where you do this?
Sexual
That's
activity
docking.
people. Some
Docking,
people I think
gotcha.
probably enjoy.
Okay, I mixed up pegging and docking. Is what I mixed
It's all
up.
right.
What's
I mean,
docking?
Oh boy.
you know,
it's
it's this. You know, it's
like
Oh.
it's like a Chinese finger trap but with
wee
with the boys.
you know.
Gotcha.
with the boys.
Give me some on that. I love that shit.
No, it's the online versus real is a very real thing, and I know Danny, you've been going through it, and it's you get out there and you touch grass, as they say, and you get your boots on the ground, and people are like, "Hey man, I like listening to the golf stuff," and you're like, "Thanks," and then that's it. It's fucking
Yeah.
it's
Basically
crazy.
it.
From time to
basically
time, you'll get the guy that's like, I don't know who you are. And you're like, all right, I don't know what. That happens to me sometimes in at these events. Like people come take a photo with us, and one guy will come stumble over. He'll be drunk and be like, I have no idea who you are. And I'll be like, I don't know who you are. And then we're in a great position right now. We just don't need to say anything to each other. It's just the weirdest thing ever. You'll get that once in a blue moon, but most of the time, it's 99% perfect in person.
There was a caddy at Pinehurst that did that to me once, and it was when we were hosting the classic, so I wasn't playing. So I'm like standing on the first tee, announcing everybody, sending everybody off, and obviously the caddies would come over as well, and you shake everybody's hand. So I shake the caddies' hands, both of them, and I just say, "Hey guys, I'm Riggs. Thanks a lot for like helping everybody out today. Let's try to keep pace going." And I shake the one guy's hand, and he just goes, "I don't know who you are," and I was like, "Well, no, like we're doing I just introduced myself." Like that.
Let me get to it. I'm Riggs, and you are like this is how humans interact.
Yeah, I was
They
like,
get weird
I just told
sometimes.
you. I just introduced myself. And I guess it's some guy who's a big anti-foreplay guy or whatever. But yeah, it's like, no, I just introduced myself. That was the whole point. I just told you who I am. So yeah, you get some weird stuff occasionally. But it is very funny how 99.9999% of people in real life are fantastic. So it's great.
Did you know that 80% of people are not drinking enough water to stay fully hydrated? It's a large percentage of people.
It's too many.
If you're hanging with the boys on Friday night and playing 18 on Saturday, you're definitely one of them, and you absolutely need to hydrate And by doing that, you need to drink BioLite. It's the IV in a bottle. BioLite is the first physician-formulated rehydration drink to contain the same amount of electrolytes as an IV bag. You see all these people with IV bags, you're like, that's super elite. Like, who the hell gets an IV bag? And you always think that they're getting something that you're not. I wish if I had more money, if I had more access, I'd be able to get all these IVs when I'm hungover and I'm dehydrated. BioLite is legitimately that in a bottle.
Right.
You stock it up in your refrigerator. You have it in the morning. It makes you feel a million times better. BioLite has 6.5 times the electrolytes than sports drinks. Can you imagine drinking 6 sugar-filled sports drinks before you teed off? You'd be in the woods the entire day like Trent Daddy. Plus, it says that.
Oh, really?
Plus,
Whoa.
whoa.
I'm
Plus,
straightening things out. I'm getting it together.
Plus, it contains key vitamins and minerals that help promote balance in your body. Oh, to promote balance in your body. Oh, okay. I see what they're saying here. It's going to promote balance in your body.
You're trying to balance out the body. You don't want to, if you're too dehydrated, everything's off.
And that's to get you feeling best on and off the course. BioLite is great for after you've had one too many, fatigue, nausea, muscle cramps, and all that stuff that we talk about that just makes you feel crappy. You want to make sure you're hydrated. It comes in 5 hydrating flavors, all formulated by an anesthesiologist. Nope, can't be.
Yes.
No way.
Dan?
An anesthesiologist? Anesthesiologist.
Yep.
And pain specialist from Atlanta, Georgia. Why is an anesthesiologist deciding on how much hydration you need?
They know what it takes to keep the body awake, I suppose.
Wow.
Right.
That seems like that's like a very, very smart person.
Dude, anesthesiologist, that's an important job.
It's like one of the more important jobs in the world.
You have to know a dosage to keep a person alive while also keeping them under so they don't feel what's going on during a surgery.
Wow.
And I actually
think about how important that is.
This could be wrong. I would have to have an anesthesiologist write in, but they don't think they know the exact dosage. So it's always like a little bit of a guess.
Probably more cautious than not.
I would think so.
Make sure you check out BioLite's brand new flavor, Fruit Punch. We had this at the Barstool Classic
So
in the
good.
last 2 Barstool Classics. They are a sponsor of the Barstool Classic. So when you go to the Classic, you're going to have BioLite so that you are hydrated, you're feeling good on the course, and you're feeling good the next day. Fruit Punch is an amazing new flavor. So make sure that you're getting BioLite, and you can get 10% off your first case of BioLite's newest flavor, Fruit Punch, right now if you visit drinkbiolite.com and use promo code CLASSIC. drinkbiolite.com, use promo code CLASSIC, 10% off your first case of BioLite flavor Fruit Punch.
All right, Valspar Championship for the cut bet. I will say I'm 8-0 now, I believe. Is my record thus far in the for the cut. Valspar's got sneaky. I think Spieth and JT are both playing the Valspar.
Fitz is playing. He added it because he missed the cut.
Yeah, because he's trying to get some more rounds in. What's going on with your boy?
I don't know, man.
I don't know if it's his neck. Week, so people can go listen to that.
I don't know if it's his neck or whatever, but he's missed the cut in 3 of his last 6 starts, which for a reigning major champion, that's not going to cut it.
No, that's not going to cut it, but he'll figure it out. He's, I mean, if you watch the full swing, as we've spoken about, he's pretty locked in with the data and figuring stuff out. So I imagine he'll get there. But the Valspar, I'll always remember the Valspar for Tiger Woods when he came back in 2017, and it was only like his second or third start, really, and he almost won the tournament, finished second. He made that bomb on the 17th hole. I think Paul Casey ended up ruining that tournament. But I'll remember the Valspar for that forever. And then we did the Barstool Classic there. Last couple of years, we've done it at Innisbrook. They're great there. And this golf course, I'll always remember, is a hardcore ball strikers golf course. The players usually rave about it. They like it. And tee to green always seems to prevail there. So looking at the numbers thus far, I have 2 names picked in case somebody picks one of mine first. So I'll go last.
Actually, before we get into this, Danny, I wanted to ask you the Matty Fitz, the clip that about him talking about live players and wanting a lifetime ban. Did you hear anything from like sources from other players about how people felt about that opinion?
I'm sure. No, I didn't really ask. I'm sure a lot of people didn't like it. I think it's like, look, I don't think he thinks that that's actually going to happen because it's very hard for me to imagine a world where if Brooks Koepka says he wants to come back to the PGA Tour, they tell him that it's just not going to happen.
Right.
But I think that's just petty Matthew. That's just him being him and being like, "Fuck you, I don't care what you."
Right.
Do,
I don't fully agree with it, but I like that was his attitude.
That is his attitude. Yeah, if you cross him, you're done.
I will say that I heard some serious juice this weekend around town.
About that?
Not pertaining specifically to that clip.
Rome is crumbling.
Just I heard some, serious juice that I can't imagine will stay suppressed for particularly long. And I think when it comes out, it will ruffle the landscape in a dramatic way.
Man,
Wow.
you got me like, you got my balls
I mean,
tingling.
you're just going to leave us at that?
But
or-
let me ask you this. You're obviously not going to give it up, which I appreciate.
That's nuts.
But
We
like,
can talk about it in private, but I can't do it on the show.
Wow.
Can't
But
talk
it-
about it on the show.
You're
but it-
teasing people's cocks right now.
all right, let me just ask one thing.
Fucking, I hope
From-
they tease and keep tuning into the show, and I'll just keep teasing them every fucking
But
time. we turn
from
this thing
the
up.
other side, we're talking probably.
I got some. I heard some juice. That's
won't
This
give it
guy's
up.
fucking
I mean,
Jamba
it is-
Juice over
You
here.
won't give it up.
It is juicy.
I
It is
all right.
fucking juice.
I just thought the Matty Fitz clip. It was a great clip, and it was just I found it
clip.
very, very, very interesting.
Yeah,
all right,
excellent clip.
let's do these for the cut picks. Who wants to go first?
Mike White has signed with the Dolphins. That's my guy. He just got paid $8 million a year. Pretty fucking solid
pretty good.
for a guy to be a backup.
Does
All right.
that
How much?
mean?
$8 million a year, 2 years, $16 million. He's gonna put in the bank. Shout out to Mike White. He's a huge foreplay.
He's gonna end
over
up
there.
having to play.
He's gonna have to end up playing.
Because Tua's
Oh,
out
shut
every
the
other-
fuck up, Alex Bush. With this we ended your Buffalo bullshit. The Islanders destroyed you guys. You have no chance of making the playoffs now. Tage Thompson, he was a fun little thing for a year, and then next year he's going to be just a tall guy that can't score anymore. See you later. Let's go on to the Valspar.
All right,
Shout
for
out
the
to Mike
cut.
White.
Do you want to go first, Frankie, with your for the cut?
Yeah, I like to just kind of skim this and see what name pops out at me, and I don't look at. You know what I do? I just look at the score app. I don't look at any of the odds. So the odds come to me when you guys tell them to me. So
Okay.
I'm kind of just looking at what kind of name pops out to me. And the name that pops out to me from the Valspar, which I'm kind of struggling with to pull it up right now.
I'm going to go with Joel Damon.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Joel
Love
Damon
that.
is going to be my pick for the cut. We ran into him during the Players. Him and his guy are in great spirits. They've had a great run. Speaking of Danny and the Netflix thing, Joel and the Netflix thing is, we've known that Joel. We've gotten to know Joel. We've played him in this 4-man scramble. We've done interviews with him. Every time we see him, it's a hug. It's an embrace. We know how great of a guy he is. So the fact that the whole world now gets to see that side of him and how great of a guy he is makes me very happy. So I'm picking him for my for the cut pick.
I'm going with a guy named David Lingmerth, who
Hey.
had a great little run here with the T6 at the Players. I'm going with David Lingmerth. He's a Swede, and his last name reminds me of a lemur.
That's a
Okay.
great pick. Great reasoning.
I'm going to
Lemur.
go with Justin
What's a
Thomas
lemur?
because
Isn't it a
I think
lemur
I'm.
cat?
Yeah, lemur's like a monkey.
Yeah.
Monkey.
It's like
Okay.
a lemur cat.
All right.
Madagascar.
I'm going with Justin Thomas because I'm 4-4, which is embarrassing. Justin Thomas needs to get his shit together. He has one top 10 and 7 starts this year, but he hasn't missed a cut on the year. So he's been kind of living in that T20 range. That'll work, Justin. We just need you to make the weekend.
Well, yeah,
That is
Riggs,
the betting favorite. for the
Riggs
record.
keeps Riggs keeps putting out the records of our for the cut success rate, and it's fine with me because I think I'm 7-1. Riggs is undefeated. It's Danny that catches the bullets because he's 500.
And listen,
Yeah, I mean-
you are what your record says you are. So
Yeah.
I think I'm on. Did I miss
I
this
think
week? I
You're
think
up there
I-
with me.
Yeah, I think you might be
think
7-1
you're
or
7-1 as well.
6-2, maybe.
I think I may
Horschel
have
missed
lost
it.
this week.
Horschel and Harris missed it this last
Oh,
week.
then maybe
yeah.
I'm 6-2 because I had Horschel last week.
Yeah, and the minute that those records start to flip, you probably won't see me post them all over the place. But for now, that's sort of the world that we're living in. 8-0. All right, I'm gonna go. All right, Justin Thomas is the betting favorite, so that's gonna kill our odds a little bit. But I like that you're trying to get that record up. So of my 2 picks, then I'm gonna go with the one that is the long shot. I'm gonna go with Eric Cole, who is plus 10,000. So he's 100 to 1 to win this week. So I think that should elevate our odds pretty good. The other one I was going to go with was Justin Suh, who's 35 to 1 this week. But I'm going to go with Eric Cole, try to get those odds up there. He was great at the Honda. He has missed, I believe he's missed 2 of his last 4 cuts. But he made the cut this last weekend, played pretty well at the Players. He missed the cut, I think, at Bay Hill, and then the weeks before that. But anyways, that's who I'm going with. I'm going with Eric Cole is my pick. So we got Joel Damon from Trent Ryan. We got David Lingmerth from Frankie Borelli. We got Justin Thomas from Dan Rappaport, and we've got Eric Cole from myself.
Very nice.
All right,
What do you guys
boys.
think about how do you say his last name? Rye or Ray? Rye, Aaron
Rye.
What do you think? So it was double gloves, ace, and he has the iron covers. I mean, I think he gets a free pass because of how amazing his story was that I saw on social media. Like his dad barely was able to afford golf clubs. They lived in like a working class household, and then like he would clean every single groove after every single time he'd make contact with the golf ball with a pin and oil, whatever, baby oil, whatever the fuck it was. And now he just like takes care of his clubs, even though he gets them for free. It's a great story, but I mean, are you just like, that's usually, I mean, when people look at Trent, they're like breaking 90. He probably just got iron covers on his fucking irons. It's like the number one thing to make fun of someone for.
Well,
but does he just get a free pass because it's like a sweetheart story?
No, he gets a free pass because he's a professional golfer. Like
Okay.
if you are, I
True.
think
He does two things that are globally known as like duster, like
No, I
the
know,
worst,
but
the
it-
worst things you could possibly do as a golfer. He wears
Duster
two
as-
gloves.
is a great
He wears-
term, dude. Duster
But-
is such a great term.
It's crazy. He
But in
uses
that
two
scenario,
gloves. He wears two gloves and has fucking iron head covers.
Yeah, but in that scenario, you are thinking about a guy like me, where it's like if that guy is doing a little bit too much. He's got two gloves, he's got iron covers. Like this guy can't even get it off the tee. When you're talking about a professional golfer, it's hard to chirp a guy who puts it in the hole on 17.
But is it still preposterous? Are we allowed to call it preposterous?
If it works, I think it's hard to critique.
But we all
is
like
hard.
we talk about aesthetic all the time in sports, like guys, like how they look, like what kind of visor are they using, what kind of outfits is Justin Thomas wearing, what kind of clubs. Look at these new clubs. Are we not allowed to talk about the aesthetic that is Aaron Rye and his fucking outrageous look of two black gloves and fucking iron head covers?
How long has a truck been backing up in Riggs's
Yeah,
zoo?
it's a long time.
That truck has been
beeping
backing
is
up
nonstop.
Dude,
for
so this
100
place-
for the whole podcast.
The entire thing.
The whole thing is who's been hitting it in reverse.
This
I've been listening.
Lakewood Ranch that we're at, dude, the whole place, like this whole state of Florida, I think, is under construction. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Dude,
they're
Florida's
just doing
booming.
stuff. everywhere.
Unfortunately, what are we, like 80 minutes into this podcast?
You think it was going on the whole time?
I know it was because but I would tune out because Riggs would talk and I'd be like, all right, I'm listening and I'm tuned into the podcast. And then as soon as Riggs would stop,
There it is.
There it
Dude,
is.
I'm telling you,
They're
it's
right
crazy.
on, louder than ever. It's speaking up for you.
Alex is gonna have to do surgery
I know.
I'm leaving that
on
in.
dropping.
I don't-
Dude, it's a
dropping.
garbage truck. Too.
I
It's one
don't
of
know
those
if
big
we can
ones.
leave that in. I think the
No,
announcer.
I cut the audio when he's not talking anyways. So.
Okay, because the
But
listeners
when
are going
he's
to be
talking,
like,
there's
Can you guys
just
see it?
nothing
No,
I
can you
do.
go in there and grab just the beeping? So every
Just the
other,
beep.
yeah, just the beep.
Keep it in.
sorry, I didn't
he's
mean
doing
to.
it
I
again.
didn't mean to derail the conversation, but it dawned on me that there's been a truck backing up for 80 minutes.
I
Dan,
personally
you
think
know-
it's okay to make. I think it's okay to make jokes about it. I mean, he obviously knows. I'm not
I'm
saying he's a bad guy. It's a great
No,
story.
no.
It moved me to tears.
I'm saying you can make fun of him, but he could.
I'm not making fun. I just think we have to have the conversation of how insane it is.
But he can then be like, I'm a pro golfer.
Yeah,
Everybody else is like, I don't know, I like to take care of my clubs. He's like, I'm trying to make a
He
living.
is
so I'm
maybe
doing
the
everything.
nicest, most soft-spoken guy in the.
I
whole
imagine.
world.
I imagine that
Frankie's
is the case.
just torpedoing him.
No, I'm not. It's
Yeah.
got to be talked about. It's got to be. I mean, he made an ace on 17. It's got to be talked about.
He also wears these. He also is sponsored by his coaches are Me and My Golf, who are those two YouTube guys who are TaylorMade guys. You know, I think we saw them at the media day. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Two British guys. And so on his hat he has Me and My Golf, and on here he has Me and My Golf. And he wears these shoes that are like look like they're about 15 years old. So I guess
He's a
doesn't care what
unique
it looks
fella.
like.
Everything about his game
I'm
and
with
his
you,
look
Frankie.
is.
I mean, the iron covers are dusty. There's just no
It's
doubt about
crazy.
it.
It's
Like,
dusty.
you just can't, Yeah, the story's fantastic, but if the guy rolls up, I don't care if he beats me by 40 shots. I would still be like, yeah, your bag looks dusty, just sitting there on the tee.
It's super dusty. But
You know.
great guy. Not making fun of him. It's like at the end of the day, you just got to talk about it. We talk about equipment a lot on this podcast. And
Right. If I'm asked to make a judgment call and there's a gun to my head and I'm on a lie detector test,
Dusty.
I'm going to tell you that's dusty. That's what the situation is. There's just no. That's it. That's all I got.
the golf capital of the world, where is it?
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, plays host to more than 3 million rounds of golf per year, and you, listening, you should be one of those people. I'm telling you right now, we just got back from Myrtle Beach. We did a Barstool Classic down there at True Blue at Caledonia. It's a Mike Strand's beautiful golf course, similar, very similar to Tobacco Road. Then we went across the street and shot a little bit of a commercial at Caledonia.
Yeah,
Caledonia Golf and Fish Club, I believe it's called.
that's right.
Place looks like Augusta National. The amount of azaleas they have on property are almost too much. Like, I don't know what they're doing with all those azaleas. It's crazy. Every look from left to right, straight, there's azaleas. Beautiful, draping, drooping, whooping trees. I don't even know what you call them.
Moss.
Mossy,
mossy
trees. You're driving through, it just feels like the beautiful South. It's South Carolina. It's Myrtle Beach. The course is also on Mike Strand's. It's his first course that he designed in Myrtle Beach. It's a beautiful location. You get chirped by the crew on 18 as you're coming up. They're all standing there and they're drinking and they're eating appetizers and they're making sure that you're not hitting the green, and they got little wagers with each other. Caledonia and True Blue are amazing. When you pull through the gates of Caledonia, you'll be in awe of its natural beauty and property. Spanish moss trees
Oh, there you go.
line the entire way,
Close.
the entryway. Beautiful water marsh views sit behind the clubhouse, and rows of colorful azaleas greet you at nearly every single hole. With on-site lodging options featuring golf course condos and villas at Caledonia and True Blue. Planning a golf trip here is a breeze when you visit CaledoniaGolfVacations.com. After your round at True Blue in Caledonia, grab a beer with your buddies, hang on the deck, and make a wager or two with your groups coming up. You can actually be one of those people that see all the people come up, and you can shit on them as they miss the green or make the green. Myrtle Beach has been named America's favorite buddies trip destination for a good reason. Myrtle Beach features so many off-course activities, including more than 1,500 bars and restaurants, fishing, shopping, beaches, and more. We're telling you right now, we've done so much at Myrtle Beach this last year. So much fun. You got to go there. Visit CaledoniaGolfVacations.com to book your tee times, plan a stay and play package, and get more information about 2 of America's top 100 golf courses.
Dan, do you know the origin of the term like duster?
No, I do not.
No.
I do
It's a great, from my knowledge, a hockey term. And when this thing first came across my desk, we obviously became obsessed with it in like high school hockey. But the term duster comes from somebody that just sits at the end of the bench and collects dust. Never on the outside.
Just doesn't move.
Just a human being that plays so little and doesn't move collects a film of dust on their body.
He jumps over the boards and there's just a fucking trail.
So there's definitely people out there that have known the term forever. They're like, I can't believe you losers are just describing this to me. But if you don't know the term, it's an all-timer. And when you're like a 16-year-old hockey guy that thinks you're a hot shot, you skate by the bench and somebody like tries to chirp you and you're just like, when's the last time you scored a goal, you duster? It just buries.
Well, that's a hockey thing, because I played football in high school and nobody didn't call anybody a duster. I wish we had now, but that sounds like a very hockey term.
And then and then you could just refer to people that do brutal things as just dust. Be like, it's pretty dusty.
Fuck, man. Yeah, I'm not saying he's a duster, but like it's a dusty move for sure. Colin Morikawa video came out last night. Go check out the YouTube video. It's just, we dropped it right on your heads. It's a multi-hole scramble. We didn't get him for the full thing, but we definitely set up the full scramble that hopefully happens within the next year or two. He claims 2025. What was it?
26.
He said 2026 4-man scramble. Yeah. Colin Morikawa. It's an amazing glimpse into, it's about a half-hour video. It's an amazing glimpse into how fucking competitive this guy is. We're about to watch it for the first time tonight, which was last night when you're listening to this. So we'll see. I don't remember who won and who didn't, so I'm excited to watch it.
I know.
Make sure you click that and subscribe. We hit 300,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone that has viewed this thing. We really started our YouTube page in like 2019, like right before COVID. Maybe it was like right around 2020.
I think it was probably in 2020 would be my guess.
We sat in this office, this studio that we're in right now, I remember, and we kind of just kicked around ideas like we have to go on a travel series. We should play like a series against pros, and like we really had maybe 10,000 to 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we were putting all of our videos on like the main YouTube, the YouTube page, and we just were like, we have to come up with our own. we really dedicated a lot of time. We came up with the 4-man scramble against Kevin Kisner. We started doing and then I did the behind the greens, and we're like, oh, we can actually do different videos now. Like, we can start doing this. It doesn't have to just be like how Barstool Video's always been, where it was like, oh, we're going to Florida, let's make a vlog and a video for that. Or we're going to this, let's just make a vlog. Like, no, these are dedicated video series. It's amazing how much we've grown in that time span, and just thank you to everyone. I mean, we're at 300,000. If you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed yet, please go hit subscribe. No, nothing happens to us or you. It's just the number goes up and YouTube pushes the videos out to more people when that happens. So It's as simple as that. We appreciate everyone. We have crazy amounts of videos coming out. Obviously, we have
Billy Horschel. We have like 20 banked videos. 15
we have so many videos with the TaylorMade guys.
Breaking 90s coming back. We're going to start filming. The weather on Long Island has not been ideal, but it's starting to turn around.
Breaking 90s coming back.
Golf courses are opening back
golf
up.
balls. He played well in California.
A great interaction yesterday. The players, the guy was super nice. We were chit-chatting for a second. He's like, what's going on with Trent and Breaking 90s? Like, is he going to do another one soon? I go, wow, they live in New York. And he's like, oh yeah, it's hard to play golf there. I go, well, it's winter. And he goes, oh, it's fucking winter. Fuck,
dude. I had that interaction
totally
a bunch
got it. At that point, he's like, oh, I get it now. I get it.
I was tweeting a little bit about Breaking 90 this weekend because I do have a lot of people ask me, and they're like, is it still going? And it's like, it's still going. I'm gonna die or I'm gonna do it. That's kind of it. Like, if I haven't done it and I'm still alive, we're gonna keep doing it. But I have had to tell a couple people, like, golf courses just haven't been open where we're...
That's not the only reason. Like, we took 65 flights last year. We can go anywhere and film a fucking Breaking 90. It's really that, like...
But we do film a lot of them here.
We do film a lot of them here, but I would
say all of them.
I think, which is actually a better reasoning for why you did it, was, like, you felt like you needed to take some time for your game to, like, actually try and get better at the game of golf. We went from 120 he shot in his first episode of Breaking 100 to then he shot a 95 to break 100, which was a crazy... huge
leap
that we never thought would happen that fast. So we're like, let's go do Breaking 90. And now he's consistently breaking 100, which if you told me that a year ago, I'd be like, it's impossible, because we have a whole series built around the fact that this guy can't break 100 every single time he plays. The one time he broke 100 was like the biggest moment ever. We popped champagne and smoked cigars, and the picture's hanging in my house. And everyone acts like now he's supposed to just like break 90 every single time he plays. No, the day he breaks 90 will be the craziest day of our lives again. And we'll pop champagne again, smoke cigars, and I'll put another picture in my house. But like, to
also,
get there, we have to get better.
That's also
it was winter, but like we had to get better. So like he shot 92 and we were like, holy fuck, we're right there. And now he's shooting 98, 97, 96. Let's fucking get better at the game of golf, learn it so that we can just do this. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Some people are mean about it, but that's all right.
No. We're doing it the right way. Like, stop putting out videos just to put them out. Actually try and do it. And that's what we're doing now. So the lapse in time that's gone on between the last episode and the next one, it was all for good reason, and it was cold.
All right, boys. I got to get back to the Barstool Classic here. We got the Truly Putting Contest coming up, so I'm going to go orchestrate that for the guy that's led the charge on the anti-Florida charge on the podcast. I will say that I think I've spent like 12 days in Florida so far this year, and it just turned into March.
I saw you're coming around on it, though. I saw you tweet that it's skyrocketing up the list of states, which I would agree with.
I like Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville. I like Jack's Beach. I like the vibe. I like kind of the blue collar feel of Jacksonville. I like obviously Sawgrass and the Players Championship and the fact that it's in Jacksonville and not in some like ritzier place or not in like Miami. It's in Jacksonville and Jack's Beach and all that. I like that area a lot. And I will say that it's been stormy pretty much this whole stretch that I've been here for 5 days or so now. And when it's stormy, and the wind's constantly blowing, you just don't feel the humidity as much or as well, because it's got this kind of cool, like windy storms are blowing in the whole time. And I like storms coming from the Midwest. You know that, Trent. We're used to having storms. So, so it's felt a little bit more like the Midwest than it has been typical Florida. So yeah, I'm coming around on it. Still probably in my bottom 5, but it's rising in the rankings.
Bottom 5. Boy, that's tough. Bottom 5 of the 50?
Oh, yeah. It was bottom 1 before this latest.
I don't want to throw shots at any other states, but there's Florida's beautiful.
Which states are you going to bury?
I don't want to bury. I mean, people be like, you're from fucking Iowa, dude. But it's like, there's some other states that I just wouldn't like. Who's probably got the least amount of listeners of ours in what state? Like
South Dakota.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good one.
But it's pretty. But I think the Dakotas are quite pretty.
I guess you can find positives about pretty much every state, right? I'm trying to think of the one that
Oklahoma.
everyone. What's the people love Oklahoma?
I don't know. I'll have to release a new rankings because it's I'm all discombobulated. I'm in the state right now. I had to get up early, so I'm not feeling as high on it today as I was yesterday. So I gotta regroup when I'm in a clear state of mind, and we could go through the state rankings. I'm happy to. Do that.
I would
West
love to.
Virginia is like a pass. Like,
Yeah, but aren't there like
there's great parts of every state. It's just
I
to
know
me, it's
what's
not a
the
top
what's
state.
the casino place there we're going this year? Greenbrier.
Greenbrier.
That place is like supposed to be
Is
one
that
of the best
Virginia
places
or
around.
West Virginia?
That's West Virginia.
You can find positives about every state.
All right,
Okay.
we done here, fellas?
I was trying to think of one state.
That's like
Florida.
universally hated.
Yeah, there just isn't one.
A lot of people hate New York, but that's just wrong.
I'm in Florida right now as we're talking about this. Trucks beeping all over the place. There's alligators.
So many
that'll eat
beeps.
people.
You're not going to believe. Hopefully, we're
Bugs
able to
everywhere.
do
Gonna
something.
get it on loop for you.
It was just a lot of beeping. I thought maybe you were
Flat.
by. I don't know what you were by. I would just did. I
Did
couldn't.
you guys watch the Oscars last night?
Yeah,
No.
I did. Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
I realized while I was watching it that the only movie I saw last year was the Knives Out sequel.
Wow.
I didn't see any
I saw
other
Top
movie.
Gun. That was like the only movie I saw.
I saw Top Gun. I saw Banshees. Did that win anything? The
No.
Colin Farrell movie. It was a good
No.
movie. It was a
Westward
really good movie.
Westward Front.
Frankie, you
All
consume
quiet-
a lot. You
I
consume
saw a
of
lot. I
content.
saw almost all those movies.
Quiet on the.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
That one a
That
lot.
movie will fuck you up. That movie.
Everything
will fuck you up.
Always All at Once or something. That was a big
Yeah,
winner.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was very deserving of all of that. But the only thing that they did not deserve was that supporting actress. Jamie Lee Curtis should not have won the best supporting actress.
Wow.
She should not have. From the Banshees of Inisherin, she should have won.
All right, I gotta go.
All right.
We'll see you, Riggs. We'll finish this up.
Yeah, we
Bye,
can.
guys. Bye, Riggs.
Bye, guys.
Fireball. You like Fireball?
Yeah.
I like
love-
Fireball. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fireball warms you up on a cold winter night.
Oh, I love Fireball so much. And for us, here's the thing. Fireball at home is one thing. Fireball on the golf course is another.
Game changer.
For all of us, golf is pretty simple. It's a chance to get out, have some fun with your friends, but inevitably little things have a way of ruining it. The group ahead of you is taking forever. Your buddy's counting bogeys as birdies. Trent Ryan can't hit a fairway. He's missing putts. He's 3-putting. He's 4-putting.
All right.
It's just driving
All right,
you
you're
crazy.
Hey, sorry, Mr. Perfect.
When you find yourself stressing out over golf like this, Fireball Whiskey is there to help you say F it and free your fire. Fireball is all about helping you push away the little annoying parts of golf. Turn up the fun notch and have some damn fun with it, Trent. Fireball is what we're doing on the golf course. It's iconic cinnamon flavor taste, fire, and you see that? It actually tastes fire. See the way they did that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's a little play on words there because it's called Fireball and it tastes fire. It tastes fire and goes down easy, making the ultimate crowd pleaser. The Fireball 50 milliliter shooters are the perfect shot for the golf course. You nip wedges and you nip the drinks. Throw a bunch in your bag and they're ready to go whenever you need them. Plus, no shot glasses or chasers are needed. Just crack it open, knock it back, make sure you're drinking Fireball, fill up your golf bag with them. When you hit a good shot, you take that cinnamon whiskey and you shove it down your gullet because it's the greatest drink you'll have on a golf course. It's quick, it's easy, it's smooth, and it's Fireball. It was just an emotional Oscars.
I feel like they always are.
I don't know, man. The speeches were really good, I thought. I think sometimes it's very much like, we got to save the world, and like, you guys are hurting the turtles, and you don't understand. Like, I'm going to tell you about political reform and all this. It's like, you're an actor. Like, this was like, I just won the Oscars. Like, that was what I liked about it. The guy, I can't say his name, but he's the guy from Everything Everywhere All at Once. He was in fucking Indiana Jones and the Goonies. Him winning Best Supporting Actor I was a fucking wreck listening to his speech. He's like, I started this journey on a boat, and then I came here, and you guys told me I couldn't do this. Look at me, Mom. I won a fucking Oscar. And he's like pointing at it, crying. I'm like, I was a wreck listening to that. He goes, this is the American dream. That's awesome. That was an amazing speech. One of the best speeches, regardless of what it's about, ever.
I will say, when I first got hired, like the Oscars was a big night in terms of live tweeting, and as the world has gotten more polarized, it's way less fun to tweet about the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
Because you tweet like one thing, they're like, fuck Jimmy Kimmel. It's like, all right, fucking
I know. Everyone
Jesus.
loves to hate it. It's like,
They're
it's
like-
fun.
They're like, if you think any joke in tonight is funny, then you are the worst person. And it's like, it kind of ruined the Oscars for me, for being honest. Because I was just tweeting like, trying to be funny on Twitter, and people are like, you only liberals watch this. And it's like, all right.
Which is crazy because like we
All right.
sit there and we spend so much money on movies and use streaming services and all this stuff, and we can't enjoy like which one wins. Like I'm a
No.
huge awards and accolades
Nope.
guy. I was like when Brendan Fraser won for The Whale, I like stood up and clapped. I was like, that's it. That's fucking awesome.
You can't-
George of the Jungle just won Best Actor at the Oscars. That's huge.
You're a woke piece
The Whale was no pun intended. The Whale was heavy.
That's one that I didn't watch, and I know what that movie's going to do to me, so I can't watch
It's
it.
heavy.
Because it's going to rip my heart right out of my
It
chest.
takes your heart out. It throws it on the floor and it just fills it with like soda and fucking it stomps on it.
I can't. That same thing with
He drinks a lot of soda in it.
Banshees. That looked like another movie where it's
Depressing.
just going to rip my heart out.
That movie was really, really dark.
Really?
Dark.
Really good,
Yeah,
though.
but I enjoyed it. I really, those two are amazing. In Bruges is one of my favorites. Those two guys together are
Oh my
awesome.
god! If you're able to make a movie about which, these are just the plots.
Isn't
I'm
it just
not
like
giving away-
Irish guys?
Well, it's two Irish guys and one guy just stops wanting to be friends with
Just
the other
decides
guy.
that
That's the
he's
whole
just- they're
movie.
not boys
the whole
anymore,
movie is like,
yeah.
how come you're not friends with me anymore? And he's like, I think you're boring, and that's it. That's the whole movie. And
It's actually
the
an
way
interesting
that
Scottie conversation.
Right, it is. And it's just like, that's that movie. And then there's this other movie called The Whale, where the whole entire movie takes place in this guy's living room. And he just is just obesely fat. And that's it. He's just like morbidly obese. And there's no other scenes. There's no scene in a car. There's no scene in a street. It's
Really?
just in his fucking room this big. For 2 hours, you're sitting there. And for you to be able to win Best Actor when you're sitting in a room for 2 hours is fucking incredible. So those two movies to me is why I find that more impressive than like the Elvis movie. Because like the Elvis movie was just like a real life scenario that you're just recreating. And yes, it's super impressive.
You're working with a pretty good structure.
You are.
Yes.
And like this is like a fucking original thought of like, we're going to make this a good movie.
That's what they always. I mean, whenever like an old time director comes out and says like Marvel isn't cinema, I think like Scorsese said that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but like because the
Stupid.
Marvel movies are great, but he is talking about that.
But
where
like
it's-
Marvel's like an original thought.
No,
too.
no,
like I don't agree with him, but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
like the idea of let's do a movie about an incredibly obese man and keep it in one setting. Like that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Now I want to see it, but I know it's going to rip my heart out, so I kind of still.
Oh my
don't.
god, the acting's out of control. It's fucking amazing. So yeah, I'm a big Oscars fan. You know that. I'm a big theatrics guy. I like the fucking lights coming down. I like the the drapery going from left to right. When Jimmy Kimmel walked out, I'm like, this is the Oscars. That's cool.
Did you see the RRR movie?
No.
That piqued my interest when
Chaos.
they gave a performance and it was breathtaking.
Yeah, it was chaos.
They're dancing around, and I guess it's on Netflix. I'm gonna
It's
have
an
to
Indian
watch that.
movie, right?
Yeah.
It won a ton of awards like for international films and stuff.
Yeah, that whatever they were, that was a bop. So I want to watch. I gotta watch more movies. I
Yeah,
guess.
I love watching fucking movies, man. All Quiet on the Western Front is crazy.
it's young men getting gunned down. It's just gonna rip my fucking heart out.
It is,
man.
but
It's really
Yeah,
good.
it'll make you feel really good about your life. Though. Whenever, I always feel great about my life after watching one of those movies. Like, how good do we fucking have it?
True.
You know?
Those kids had no idea, man. They're just like, all right, you gave me this gun. I'm in this trench. I didn't think I'd be here, but we're okay now, right? And they're like, yeah, just jump over this trench, and
Oh.
you're gonna just run straight ahead. And we're gonna gain ground. And he takes one peek up, and it's just a bullet right in his forehead.
Nah, man.
And that just happens for millions of people, and they gain no ground, and it's just for nothing. Like if you actually think of how the war ended, that really did not. What'd that do? It just wasted ammunition. Like I don't know what that actually did. So it's fucking crazy. It makes you want to throw up. It makes you thankful. It makes you thankful of the people that served. It really puts perspective in your life because you're like, my grandpa was like a part, like maybe not there, but like a part of that. Obviously, if you just make it out of that alive, it's fucking unbelievable. How many people's life, like their family trees just ended there in that trench.
That's why I watch.
That's disgusting if
It's
you think about it.
horrific, and that's why I watched the Knives Out sequel because I was like, I know kind of what this is going to be. It's going to mess with my brain a little bit, But at the end, I'm not gonna be completely at the bottom.
Movies
But-
are great, and the Everything Everywhere All at Once. The directors, the Davids or whatever they call them. The one guy is like, he had said something really interesting in his like final speech where he was like, I love movies so much, but I fear that movies are year to year and the internet is second to second.
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
like, it's crazy to me that we have to, that like our world is like still holding on to this year to year thing. Like, I hope that we can keep that. Like we work on a project for fucking 3 years and we release it, and hopefully that still means something in like 100 years. You know what I mean? Like, are movies going to be obsolete? Is the world moving too fast to sit there for a 3-hour movie ever again? Like in our grandchildren's generation, are they going to be sitting there watching Everything Everywhere All at Once for 3 hours, or do they just want 10 seconds of a funny clip and you see that a million times?
I don't know, because like shows are very successful, right? And I'll say I don't want to watch a movie, but then I'll watch 8 hours of The Last of Us. So I don't know. Attention spans are definitely getting smaller and smaller, but I don't think movies are ever going to go anywhere.
Without giving any spoilers, did you finish The Last of Us?
No, I'm very behind.
Oh wow! I will say I finished it last night. I take back what I originally said, where it's like every zombie movie is the same, and I know it's not a zombie movie;
different,
it's an
eh?
infected movie. It's way different. Like they just went away from every episode being like, "Can we escape these zombies?" And that's what I like. You know what I mean? It's more like the journey between two people as opposed to like the journey away from the bad guys. And that's what I really, really like. Like they've nailed making it not a zombie infected movie. It's more like these two, like there's more human battles than there are people versus zombie battles. So
Right.
That's what I'm like, all right, they've got me now. Because like every episode I'm like, Jesus Christ, I gotta wait for jump scares every 2 seconds. And we really hadn't gotten that in like 6 episodes. It's been great. I love it. I really fucking love it. I can't wait for season 2. All right. I think that's it. I got nothing else here.
All right, boys.
We'll be
That's
back
it.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.